Welcome to round 2 of the Bosch Australian Rally Championship, coming to you from the 25th running of the Quit Forest Rally in Busselton, Western Australia. In our program today, we'll bring you the highlights of both the 2- and 4-wheel drive championships as the 2 top national categories head into the traditional forest roads for the first time. Last round at the East Coast Bull Bars Rally Calder, the fastest 2-wheel drive was Eli Evans. He and Glenn Weston showed the benefit of 2 seasons in a front-wheel drive, and the objective this year is clear.
Yeah, look, I've been instructed to win by Honda, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my best.
And right now, his best is too good for his teammate. Mark Petter couldn't match Evans' pace, but he and Claire Ryan are set to take it up to them again this round. The Honda party spoiler, though, is Jack Monkhouse. He and Dale Moscott are in an older car with some trick bits, like a sequential gearbox and souped-up suspension, making them the popular underdogs. Make no mistake, though, the turbocharged Nissan Silvia is no slouch.
Well, everyone wants to win. So you don't come here to come last. I think it's going to be a factor of attrition and obviously speed of the cars and reliability. So we're hoping we've got a reliable package here. And the speed will be good.
The 4-wheel drive battle is between the new kid on the block, Tom Wilde, and 2 more experienced ARC campaigners. Wilde and co-driver Lee Tierney came away with maximum points from Calder, and the advantage is with them this round on their home turf.
That's the word around town. The pressure's on my shoulders to try and do well, to try and win, but I'm not going to CLA. I'm going to get through it like I've always have these rallies, these big important ones, and I'm hoping that things will end well and we'll get a good result.
But it was a near thing in round 1. Queenslanders Steve Shepherd and John McCarthy pushed the WA youngster all the way, only to lose out in the dying stages with a broken axle.
It's going to be a long year. Every point's going to count. But in saying that, got to go for first. We don't want to come second or third or fourth. You want first. That's the goal. So all we can do is try and see where we end up.
Enter New South Wales. Michael Bowden and sister Helen Cheers snatched the double points on offer in the Calder final with a decisive last stage win. The consistent and conservative approach left them third in 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's right, but still that's a good start to the season and that's what we're aiming for. So just another round to go this weekend and that's exactly the same way we're going to plan for.
And that plan begins here, with 2 super special stages around the Busselton foreshore, right alongside the longest jetty in the country that helped put Busselton on the map.
This year's Bosch Australian Rally Championship will have 2 winners. There will be one for the first 2-wheel drive home, the other for the first 4-wheel drive. Now, whoever wins either category will have to have a number of special talents. First and foremost, an understanding and sympathy for their car, to be able to hit those deep creek crossings and launch over those jumps to maximise speed and minimise damage. They must have exceptional control to be able to position their car into every corner. Gaining advantage of a smooth line and finding areas of surface where they can get the most traction is critical. Most importantly, they must be able to change direction quickly to miss that boulder the car in front has just dislodged. To do this, a winning driver must also have quick reflexes for those split-second decisions, which will make or break their run. Finally, they must be master tacticians, not only to control their pace, but use all sorts of means to outstrike the opposition. Well, who can do that? We'll find out at the end of the season when the Bosch Australian Rally Champions are crowned.
Mark Petter grabs the limelight through SS1, fastest 2-wheel drive across the 2K tarmac stage.
2 right plus, 200. 2 right plus again, 80. 3 right, 100. 9 left, flat right out, 100.
Eli Evans' time is good, but his first run is untidy, and he's lucky to sneak away without any panel damage on the first corner. Cold tyres are a trap. Monkhouse can't match the nimble front-wheel drive Honda Jazz. But what the Nissan lacks in traction, it makes up for in crowd appeal. The NorthOz.com SS Commodore is a further 10 seconds shy. But the V8 reverberating around the foreshore is a welcome sound for the crowd. SS2 is the reverse direction, and this time Pedder is messy. That's all it takes. Eli grabs the stage win, and with it, the overnight lead by 0.9 of a second. Shepherd, Wild and Bowden all feature at the top of the four-wheel drive competition in both directions. But the man who nearly proved an upset in round one is back doing it again. Nick Bosch not only beats the three front-runners, but breaks Neil Bates' long-standing record around the Super Special. The current WA Rally champion, Lee Hines, pushes as close to the line as he can, and then some. Charlie Drake finds enough to squeeze Michael Bowden back a place, the Irishman overcoming his inconsistent brake issue of SS1 to record a time only a second slower than third place Tom Wilde. By the reverse run, the top three remain unchanged. A modest Nick Bosch again leading the way from Shepherd and Wild.
Yeah, and you can't really judge anyone's pace here because it's tarmac. I mean, all will be revealed tomorrow in the bush.
And tomorrow, Heat 1 continues in the forest around Nannup, 80 kilometres to the east. Nannup means place of rest or meeting place. Once a year, it's a far cry from a place of rest, but certainly is the meeting place for the state's highest profile gravel rally. 2 years ago, at the opening gravel round of the Bosch ARC, Eli Evans tackled the notorious marble surface of this region for the first time in the front-wheel drive Honda Civic Type R. It was a steep learning curve, but now with 2 seasons under his belt, he and Glenn Weston show the time spent in the lead-up has been worthwhile. Evans and Weston are 25 seconds quicker across Kinky than the sister Jazz. Mark Pedder has it all in front of him, playing catch-up in a car very different in handling to the four-wheel drive Evo 9s he's used to.
8 right, into brow, flat left.
He and new co-driver Claire Ryan settle into third in class.
Left, repeating clip 6 left, into 8 right, tighten slight. 18. Flat right, brow 50, 4 right after junction. Repeating brow 50, 4 right after junction. 100. 9 right, 100. Slow 9 right into 5 left. Into 7 left, 30. 8 right neat, 15.
Jack Monkhouse accounts for himself well in the Nissan Silvia. Quicker than Pedder by 5 seconds, but trailing Evans by 20.
Short 9 right, right at the end, get out wide. For short 9 right, 100. Short 10 left, on it. 150 to top. Long straight crest and second 8 left, repeat, and second 8 left. 50, straight crest, 100, straight crest again, 50, long 9 right. Opens, 250. 9 left, 30, 8 right, 30 then, 8 right, 200, turn 3 right, narrows, careful of narrows, turn 3 right, narrows, down, 150 straight, 10 right, that's a narrows, 10 right, 100,
More surprises this round from the lower ranks. Rallyschool.com.au Junior Challenge entrant Dylan King brings his 2-litre Pinto-powered Mark II Escort home just 6 seconds behind Mark Pedder across the 11-kilometre opening stage of the day.
We did it last year on L plate, so we didn't really have much, we got a bit of experience out of it, and we just tried to finish the rally, so this year we're trying to go a little bit faster now. So yeah.
But faster is not good for King, who may need to preserve his tyres.
Yeah, we're going to go 10 tyres for the rally, so put 2 new ones in the rear and see how we go for the tyres. So yeah, have to maybe take it a little bit easier.
Ferndale is 24 kilometres long and, like many of the stages today, will be repeated, a fact that Mark Pedder and Claire Ryan will come to appreciate all too well.
No.
You're joking.
Claire punches the OK button on the rally's safe module, and organisers immediately know the Jazz crew is unharmed. It's a new innovation in the Bosch ARC, and Pedder has the dubious honour of being the first driver to prove it works. The GPS-based system provides vital data to keep track of competitors. Importantly, it also helps other drivers identify the need to stop to render assistance. Jack Monkhouse is next two-wheel drive-through, and the rally safe unit goes green, indicating that they do not have to stop for the incident 200 metres ahead.
7 left, 50, 5 right. 30, concentrate buddy, concentrate. 30, 5 left, 100.
Staying on the road and scoring points is paramount, and Monkhouse is acutely aware of the fact, although tyre choice today has been compromised by his budget.
We ran on a hard tyre just to see what the wear was going to be like, because obviously we're a privateer, so we've got a limit of 10 tyres, so we have to try and preserve that. Otherwise, if you go out on mediums and run them all day and just keep throwing tyres on it, but we're trying to get the privateer points too, so we run the hards, which you sacrifice some grip. And if the old guys in these classic cars did a better job of sweeping the road, then I reckon we'd go faster.
One of the old guys Jack is referring to is Neil Bates, campaigning his classic Toyota Celica for the first time in the forest. 2 years ago, when the 4-time national champion was running in the main game, he complained that Jack wasn't doing a very good job of sweeping the road in his old classic 180B. Now the worm, it seems, has turned. Bonus points are up for grabs through SS6, Healthway. 5 championship points on offer for first, 3 for second, and 1 for third.
Whoa.
Yeah, we had a steering rack fail.
That's a power steering playing up on me a little bit.
It actually went probably 500, probably a kilometre from the finish. Just come around a tight right-hander and was on full lock to the right, and then when I wanted to go full lock to the left, I couldn't pull it, so we ended up spinning on the inside of the corner, stalling, going down a few gears, restarting, reversing and going again, so it cost us a little bit of time, but I think we were second fastest on the power stage, so never mind, that's 3 points to the championship, so it's not all bad, is it really?
The failure opens the way for Jack Monkhouse and Dale Moscott to take the Healthway power stage and maximum points. John Brunsma sneaks in to collect the bonus for third in the NorthOz.com SS Commodore, sporting a new sequential gearbox.
With the old gearbox, you slip it into gear and you didn't know whether it was going to break loose or take off. With this box, you either know you're already sideways and it's going to remain that way, or you're going to stay in a straight line.
Take a bit of getting used to?
Absolutely, yeah. I made a couple of mistakes in that stage. I knew when I was in trouble that I was going to hit the wrong lever, but luckily I was going up and not down, so it worked out pretty well.
Both leading two-wheel drives pull 10 seconds out of their previous runs across Kinky, which might beg the question, where do stage names come from? Some, like Healthway, are named after a sponsor. Others, like Ferndale or Ellis, for the area they traverse. Kinky, on the other hand, well, we'll leave that to you to figure out. Nearly 300 volunteer officials are required to successfully run an event like this, and sometimes it's best not to question their methods.
I told them they need to lash down the rally cars, and they have the cars lashed down and they're good to go.
And go they are. Evans again taking the top spot in the final forest stages of the heat.
Dip, 50, straight crest, Evans overtaking.
Jack Monkhouse lifts his work rate through Ferndale, but the front-wheel drive G2 Honda Jazz has the legs on the Nissan Silvia.
Okay, here we go. 9 left. 80. Long 8 right. Tightens 5. 30. 6 left. 50. 9 right. And 9 left. 100. Long 8 right. Tightens 5. 30. Don't cut. 7 left. 50. 6 left.
Nothing separates Monkhouse and Evans for the final 2 sprints around Nannup Oval. The mixture of tarmac and gravel suits the rear-wheel drive car, and with Monkhouse always on the prowl for a cut, it will be close. It's not enough though. Evans still in by 0.1 of a second. With our camera moved even further back for the final run, Monkhouse cuts even deeper. And it pays. A win over Eli in the final stage by half a second. The heat, though, clearly Eli Evans with Jack Monkhouse second. Rallyschool.com.au junior challenge competitor Dylan King is third fastest for the day in 2-wheel drive, ahead of John Brunsma. Mark Pedder finishes the day in the forest, awaiting a tow to get him back to service in time for the start of Heat 2 in Busselton. Next up, the action in the 4-wheel drive Bosch Australian Rally Championship, a Quick Forest Rally in WA. Steve Shepherd is first car on the road, clear of the dust, but running on a slippery surface.
The surface here is extremely slippery. Car 1, massive disadvantage. But it's one of those things, I mean, Simon Evans used to come here and win the rally, so as car 1, Neil Bates as car 1, so there's no reason why we can't. All we're going to do is just concentrate, do the best we can do, and potentially lose a bit in the morning and catch up in the Arvo.
Charlie Drake will be in the dust, but as car 6, he has the advantage of a road swept of many of the loose stones.
If we want to get good times, if we want to win, if we want to challenge for podiums, you have to deal the hand that you've got. So, look, Shepherd, Michael Bowden, all these guys have a bigger problem than we have. So, look, we'll deal with it. It'll be okay.
It's okay for the locals anyway. Nick Box continues where he left off last night. He and Ash Ridden escaped the Pirates at Kinky and set fastest time across the 11.3 kilometre stage. Lee Hines is next quickest in the Busselton Subaru Service Impreza. Hines is always fast in his home state, and a start like this was expected.
4 tightening, sudden long. 30. 6 right, 50, late 3 left hug, this is 6, late 3 left hug, into late long 3 right, late 3 hug, into long 3 right, keep left.
Shepherd leads Bowden by 0.4, the quickest of the out-of-state team's drivers. It's a good drive considering.
Care, 7 right, 30, tightens 5, we've lost 4th gear, tightens 5, repeat, tightens 5, then short 6 left, repeat, short 6 left, go 150, 2 left. Just double check that, but I think we've lost 4.
We have.
Yeah, okay, 2 left here, we can live without it. Into 5 right, 50 metres long, into short 3 left, it's a short 3 left, and 6 right, short, into 4 left, and 4 right, 30 metres long, opens, then 6 left, 50 metres long, go 100.
Only 6 seconds separates the top 5. Tom Wilde in his first experience in the forest in the new Pedder Suspension Evo 10. Derek Reynolds' Newman Petroleum is an earlier Evolution 5, without many of the electronics associated with the later model Lancers. It shows on the leaderboard. The best he and Ray Baker can manage is 10th in stage, despite moving up to the unrestricted ARC spec engine this year. The early charge from the All-Stars Garage Evo 9 continues through Ferndale. Box and Ridden extending their outright four-wheel drive lead to 6 seconds by end of stage. Shepherd and McCarthy begin well in the Sachs Evo 10, flying through Ferndale. Even without fourth gear, they're still maintaining enough pace to stay in touch.
Flat 9 right.
Gremlins creep in.
Second gone as well. 50 metres long, 200, get fifth. Then flat left in dip, 100. We got fast corners for about a kilometre. Flat brow 50, concentrate, flat brow 50, flat right on top brow long, flat right on this brow and it's long 50, flat right on the third brow, go 200, small brow then 10 left, small brow then 10 left. We got 14k to the finish. Brake before brow 50, 7 left hug, 150, late 6 right. Late 6 right here, 70 metres long, and it's got a narrow exit. 70 metres long with a narrow exit, 13k to the finish.
Charlie Drake and Jim Gleeson are fourth home through SS4, but it's Wild and Bowden squaring off for a second place in stage. At the end of 14 Ks, just 1 second separates the pair, and that's enough for Wild to grab second outright in four-wheel drive by 0.7. Hines drops from fifth to last after cutting a corner.
Long 3 right, keep left. Into very long 7 right.
Went into Ferndale, normal attitude, flat out, you know. And I was already committed to a corner, and Stuart had called the don't cut, and so completely my mistake, straight into a rock and broke a wheel, flat tyre. So that was that. So we had to stop and change it, and then of course had to drive in dust for the rest of the stage. So that's pretty much our day over for a result. So we just got to push through and try and get some points for the state title.
The East Coast Bull Bars SUV Challenge is just that. Dealing with the issues of a new style of car, Brett Middleton is using his first time on the gravel to test out everything in the turbo diesel Forester.
I think it's a fantastic challenge, isn't it? I mean, always look for something a bit different, but for this event, I think I've got not enough noise because I can't hear what I'm doing. Stalling the engine because I come into a corner with a diesel engine, you can't stop locking the wheels up. Marbles to contend with. But it's, hey, at the end of the day, it's all good fun. We suffered some high oil temperatures on that stage, so for the next stage I decided to turn the air conditioning off. So that fixed it a little bit, but look, it's nice and comfy and cruisy in there. The carpet keeps us nice and cool and quiet, so but lots more testing to be done.
Also down on power this round is Junior Challenge competitor Dan Day. After leaning out their big engine at Raleigh Calder, Day and co-driver Steve Glennie have switched to a smaller power plant.
We just put the 2 litre back in it for this round because that was easiest with the little amount of time we had. So running the smaller motor this time, a bit less power but still going well. This weekend's just all about experience, not so times for us and results.
The rallyschool.com.au Junior Challenge is about finishing stages to qualify for the final in Coffs Harbour. Judging by the times this P-plater is turning in, Daniel Day will be a name to watch in the future. The Zypratech Impreza will turn in a couple of 7s in stage by the end of Heat 1. Steve Shepherd's championship is taking a turn for the worst.
I'm shattered. We're fourth and we've got 2 gears. I only got 3 gears. And first is a waste of time, so you might as well say.
With just 20 minutes to service, the decision to pull out and rectify the selector issue with the gearbox must be made. Shepherd decides to press on with just 3 gears and salvage whatever points he can, electing to change the gearbox in the 2-hour service between heats later in the day. Tom Wilde changes settings in the suspension to the Pedders Evo 10 and immediately jumps to second behind the All-Stars garage entry of Nick Box. Mick Patton's start is just what he wanted in the Repco Subaru.
Now that we've done a set of stages this morning as well, I've sort of got a rough idea what's going on now as well. So unfortunately the temptation to push again will be completely there as well though, unfortunately, but I'm sure Bernie will keep me under control.
Got Simon and Margot behind you. They've been here before. They've done these roads, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I think they've done it about 4 or 5 times now. It's actually funny because Simon's actually been giving me a lot of instruction prior to the event, which is, what this sport's about, and it's one of the biggest things that I love about this. Sport, it's just great fun where your competitors actually your mate, and more than happy to help. So,
you think that's going to stop?
Hopefully not, because I really like the pair of them. So yeah, hopefully we should be the same. So plenty of beers on Sunday night, and we should be get the friendship back on par again.
I think I might have to rethink my strategy there. Nah, look, you try and help the young blokes coming up. Mick's come a long way in the last 6 months. A little bit too far, but it's great to see.
Simon and Margot Knowles have competed in the Quick Forest Rally before, but never in the Evo 9. The ex-Dunkerton tarmac winning Mitsubishi began life on this side of the country. This is the first time it's tasted gravel at WA. A bent steering arm slowed the Queensland husband and wife early, but once rectified, they pushed on to be just nudging the top half-dozen cars. Bosch continues to dominate through 6 and 7, but clips a corner and drops 30 seconds with a front right flat. Wild jumps to the lead, his adjusted suspension giving him a 6-second lead over Michael Bowden. Bowden and Helen Cheers had been within a second of Wild, and they battle on through the repeat of Ferndale. Tony Sullins and Julia Barkley are 4th fastest through SS8, finishing 2 in front of Steve Shepherd. Even with restricted gears, the Sachs machine is holding on to 4th in 4-wheel drive. Fingers crossed to the end of the heat. It's less than a kilometre in length, but Nick Box looks measurably faster than anyone at Nannup Oval for the final 2 stages. Michael Bowden is next quickest on SS9, but Charlie Drake displaces Bowden for the final stage to finish behind Nick Box by 0.9. Mick Patton takes the Entertainment Award, a close call for everyone. In outright 4-wheel drive terms, Tom Wilde wins his first ARC heat for Petter's suspension. The Warhope Warrior Michael Bowden is 8 seconds behind the West Aussie and 9 in front of Nick Box. Steve Shepherd will salvage some valuable championship points and look forward to Heat 2 with a new gearbox, while Tony Sullins' consistent performance in the older Subaru sees him in 5th. A disappointing end for the fastest man of the day.
We won a lot of stages today. We just went out and sort of set a pace and hoped that it was quick enough, and it was. We sort of sat on it and tried to be consistent, but at the end of the day, once you get a flat, you get a flat. We're really happy with our pace. It's just our consistency that's the problem. Hopefully we can do a bit better tomorrow.
And before tomorrow, we'll check out the side-by-side challenge and the classics right after a break.
The introduction of the exciting new side-by-side class has really sparked the rally fraternity. Powered by a 2-cylinder engine of no more than 1000cc and coupled to a variable transmission, these small off-roaders can go practically anywhere. Manufacturers Can-Am and Polaris are behind the venture to promote this new class of competition. The machines are identical, no engine modifications allowed. These little rocket ships have all the necessary safety gear, including CAMS approved seats, belts and roll cage. Carrying driver and co-driver, they can still top 120 kilometres an hour. In fact, that's as far as their speedo goes. But speed is not their forte, it's their agility on the rough stuff. In the ARC, they cover most of the competition roads, but they are also set for some serious off-roading. As we saw last round at Calder, it's the best way to get down and dirty. And at under 30 grand, it spells great low-cost racing excitement.
They came and they conquered at Calder Park Raceway for the first round of the Bosch ARC. The excitement of the side-by-side competition between Polaris and Can-Am was electric, as these factory farm machines took to the track. Here in WA was to be the first time the machines would race out on the same forest roads as the rally cars. Organisers had diverted them off the main roads from time to time to find tracks even more off-road to test the mettle of the driver and co-driver. Leading the charge was Cody Crocker and Greg Folletta in the Polaris XP900, while Michael Guest and David Green were representing Can-Am in the Commander X. With all the necessary CAMS approved safety gear, they set off into the forest. Cody Crocker quickly established himself as the man to beat and was revelling in the mix of rally and off-road conditions.
There's one section there, it's quite fast. There's 3 or 4 crests over about 1.5 kilometres. Dead straight, and it's really, really fast. So flat out there, little speedos at the end of the little dial, about 110, 115 or something. So we're flying along.
Guest and Green stayed in touch in the Can-Am Commander through the twisty forest tracks, but got caught in dust.
Can't see.
Pretty tough in the last stage there. We unfortunately caught a quad and a bike in some really powdery conditions, lost about 40 seconds, so that's pretty heart-wrenching when you're sitting behind the wheel.
Rookies to the ARC style of rallying, father and son combo Nathan and Les Shivers settled in smoothly, although almost a second a kilometre slower than Crocker in a similar Polaris. The surprise package was James Shipp and his dad Warren. The 17-year-old from Victoria was behind the wheel of the Sidchrome Polaris, but showed experience well beyond his years.
I was pretty slippery in the morning. There's plenty of ruts after all the other cars went in, and it was pretty nasty out there. But it was good fun. We did a pretty good time on the first 2 stages.
A second Can-Am Commander in the hands of Darryl Knight made good time as well. With virtually no experience in this style of competition, Knight was learning the ropes of pace notes from the experienced Naomi Tillett, and it was all on-the-job training.
Oh, f*** you. Sorry, Gnomes.
All right.
Even those experienced with pace notes do make mistakes.
Flat, yeah, left. Oh, hang on. Oh. Can we get it back on its wheels? Don't know.
Didn't have my notes quite right, and I've been doing this a long time, so, I guess we're all entitled to make a mistake occasionally, and that was my mistake today, and hit the jump too fast, got up on the front right-hand wheel, and over it went 1.5 times, and you can see the results there behind us, so that's the way it goes.
And the way it went in the results was a 1-2-3 for Polaris, giving them the lead in the side-by-side challenge, with Darryl Knight the best of the Can-Am Commanders. The concept of classics leading the field has always been about showing off some of the best competition cars from another era. Jeff David's Porsche has been doing that in spectacular style for a couple of seasons now. But the addition of former Australian rally champion Neil Bates in a special Toyota Celica has been just as exciting. Both he and Jeff David put on a great display as the advance party to the main ARC field.
Right, 5.5 kick. 7:31.3. It is fantastic fun.
That is fun, isn't it?
I've never had so much fun in a rally car as what I had yesterday. It was just unbelievably, I'm going through stages saying, Nicole, how good is this? This is just so much fun, so I really enjoyed it.
Coming up next, the final four-wheel drive heat of the Bosch Australian Rally Championship from WA. Heat 2 of the Quit Forest Rally begins on the coast. 2 quick sprints around the Busselton Toyota Super Special stage. And they're quick, quicker than ever before. Last night, Nick Box broke Neil Bates and Possum Gaunt's record they set in their works cars several years ago. Now Box has become the only driver to go sub 130.
Yeah, well, we had a pretty big crack tonight. I thought I'd have a go as soon as we... Bit disappointed with what happened today, so we wanted to have a good start for tomorrow.
Shane Jacobson's appearance at Rally Calder for the opening round generated plenty of interest, but no one really thought he'd turn up in WA for the Forest Rally, except Shane, who's apparently caught the rally bug. Now he's hooked. With a bit of a refresher course pre-event from rallyschool.com.au, Jacobson is as prepared as he can be.
The step up, you know, from Calder to here, it's not a step, it's a giant leap, it really is. It's another world, it's a massive learning curve and there's a lot to take in. So for me, this is the first time I've really had to concentrate on pace notes, and you know, I kind of thought I could bring some of the knowledge from the circuit stuff I've done onto the dirt, but it's useless. It's the difference between water and beer, let me tell you.
Jacobson obviously brings some of his tarmac experience into the super special stage, 7th quickest. Next morning, back at Nannup, Steve Shepherd is lamenting a disastrous prognosis with his gearbox. Despite replacing the Albans box, the issue remains. No 2nd and 4th gear. The fault is now traced to the selectors external to the gearbox.
And we're cable tying up as much as humanly possible. Next time we come in, if it hasn't fixed it, we'll actually take the thing out and drill a hole for it and put it off. Okay, so just so you know, that's the situation.
Yep, righto, okay, thank you.
The Sachs team head out to start the forest stage for Heat 2. Once again, with only 3 gears, it will be a tough day at the office. They get the car clear of the corner. It's the end of the line for the Queenslanders. Same stage and place as last year. Bowden and Cheers are next through. Tom Wilde and Lee Tierney are 2 seconds quicker than the Warhope Warriors, and both are behind Lee Hines, who's rejoined for Heat 2 and showing off his local knowledge. Shepherd tries everything to get back in the race as precious minutes and championship points slide by. 5th car on the road is Nick Box. After 19 kilometres, he and Ash Ridden are a staggering 12 seconds quicker than the rest of the field. Box was running medium 800 Kumos for Heat 1, and this morning a fresh set of the same compound.
The rain overnight has kept a lot of the dust down, cleaned the roads off, and we'll find that nearly everybody's gone out on our 800 mediums today. There's a couple of teams at the top end of the field who, depending on how swept the roads are this morning, have said they're going to elect to go to 900s this afternoon, but we're yet to see that.
The story of tyres so far has not been one of compounds as much as punctures from rocks being scattered across the road.
One of those things, I think, it's very hard on rear tyres, this car, like the setup wise, and it's, I think I knocked a bit of air out of it on one of the corners and then got to the hairpin and just popped it off the rim. Had to change it. Flat, like the battle gun was flat. Had to wind the boots taped shut, obviously, so had to unsticky tape the boot to get it off. So yeah, bit of a disaster. We weren't planning on getting it flat, that's for sure.
Through SS14, Folly, Tom Wilde hits back, beating Box by 0.1 of a second. Hines and Bowden are next quickest, but Charlie Drake should have beaten them both.
Pretty poor effort by us this morning on the first 2 stages, overshoots, turning left instead of right. With the spin in the first stage, we were lucky not to get bogged down the bank. So just not one of my finer days of rallying, but oh well, we're still here. The plan now is let Bowden and the 2 WA boys, let them fight it out. We'll settle for 4th. I think Lee Hines is in front of us, but he's not registered for serious points. So look, if we come away with 4th today, we'll be happy with, considering the performance and just my lack of commitment to the corners. So it'll be okay.
Brett Middleton's Forester is not the only one here this weekend. His recce car is on loan from Maximum Motorsport. And although not eligible for the East Coast Bull Bars SUV Challenge, it is another SUV variant set up for rallying.
No, well, this car here is the car that Rob Herridge ran with Maximum Motorsport in last year's Australian Safari, which he's going to use again this year. And this one is actually turbo petrol, whereas ours is turbo diesel. We want to encourage people into the sport, so there's no point building weapons that only a few people can afford to run, or you don't want a class full of just turbo Foresters. So there's obviously other cars that will come into the category now as a result of that decision. Yeah, well, from a technology point of view, our car will considerably get quicker and quicker. Obviously, after this event, when we go back to Sydney, we've got more R&D to do and a few more modifications within the rules. Both cars come with the same torque, factory standard. Ours has obviously got more torque now. So down low in the gears, our car is actually quicker, but it's only up top the turbo petrol engine is actually obviously quicker. But overall, it's just 2 completely different cars to drive.
Hey, Brett.
I give him my car, it was perfectly clean. Look, what's that? What is that?
We focused on cleaning all the outside of the car. We haven't finished cleaning the inside yet.
The serious action in the four-wheel drive competition heats up at the signature stage, Healthway Loop. The spectator point allows the crowd to see the start and the hard right-hander and often provides action. Michael Bowden is first away, cleanly down over the jumps and onto the spectator point. Tom Wilde is next, fast and smooth. Nick Box never gets to see the spectators, coming unstuck at the jumps and ploughing through 60 metres of forest. On hand again to capture the moment is his stepbrother, Aidan Zakowski, the same enthusiast who caught the Aston Martin crash at Calder. Both walk away from the wreck, ridden unscathed, Box with a cracked funny bone in his elbow. There's nothing funny about the wreck though. The roll cage has done its job and remarkably not been compromised. That's the good news. Everything else looks like a throwaway. Bowden leads Wild through SS16, Ellis, but the mover and shaker is rallyschool.com.au junior Dan Day, who sneaks home fourth fastest.
At the bottom, care 8 right mid, don't cut. Care 8 mid, don't cut. 100, care 7 left mid, into 3 left. Care 7 mid, into 3 left, straight 100. Well done. Keep left over brow, 50. Keep left over brow, 50. Brow and 10 left. 50 through dip. 57 left, brow 50, 7 left. Brow 50 here, 7 left. 50 through dip. Brow and keep 8 left. Straight 150.
For the next 3 stages, Wild leads Bowden from Charlie Drake and Mick Patton. Drake is flying by the finish of SS17.
And overflying finish. Oh!
And the finish of 18.
They should got over the finish.
Nothing lost. He's still broken the finish beam to register a time across what will be the last stage of the event. A bushfire in the region of the final stage, Helium, means the rural fireys, currently on standby at each special stage, are called away. And with that, the rally is cancelled on the grounds of safety. It is Tom Wilde and Lee Tierney who take out both heats for the weekend, as well as the Quit Forest Rally Trophy. In championship terms, they extend their lead over Michael Bowden. Despite getting the extra point for most stage wins, Nick Box will be back to the drawing board to stay in championship contention. And Steve Shepherd slips from 2nd to 4th after a weekend of mechanical mishap he'd prefer to forget. Mick Patton, on the other hand, jumps into the top 5 on 88 points and leads the Premier League, while Dan Day books his place in the rallyschool.com.au Junior Challenge at the Coffs Coast Rally later in the season. Stick around for the action from the final heat of the Bosch two-wheel drive ARC from the Quit Forest Rally in WA. Brockman is the opening account for Heat 2 in the forest around Nannup. Safely back in the event after his off-road excursion in Heat 1, Mark Pedder is keen to match the sister Honda Jazz of Eli Evans.
Flat brow, 100. 10 right, 200.
Come on, Mark.
Yep. Braking brow, 20, turn 6 left. Repeating brow, 26 left. 500.
The start is good, but he soon comes across the dust of Tony Sullins, who's pulled back onto the road after a puncture.
9k into Brockman, we got a heap of dust and noticed it was Tony Sullins, and unfortunately couldn't get close enough in the dust to pass him.
John Brunsma is struggling in the conditions as well. The NorthIsles.com entry is the heaviest car in the field, and dust, marbles and wayward rocks are making the big SS Commodore a handful to control. Through Folly, SS14, the rocks get worse. Avoiding them is important.
Then caution, left 3. Right 6 over slight crest. 50, short right 7 line. 50, short left 9. 70, right 7 in on exit, narrow. 150. Double caution, short left 5 in, fast right 4 through dip.
7 right. Into 10 left over brow.
But in the heat of the moment, it's not always possible.
8 left. Don't go wide here though. Cut 8 left. 120. 9 right. Tighten 7. Long 9. Tighten 7. 30. 7 left. And
By the time Jack Monkhouse arrives, it's almost impossible to avoid them.
oh, look at that mother.
Brockman had a huge amount of exposed rock, as did Folly after it, so we had to slow down to like first or second gear to drive around the rocks at one point because they were just so big you wouldn't even get over them without destroying the underneath of the car. So full credit to the Kumos for keeping the air inside them. I thought we had at least 1 or 2 flats in there, and yeah, we'll just keep at it.
Dylan King pushes his Mark II Escort through Folly, just 1 second behind Pedder, the rallyschool.com.au aspirant, well on his way to a finals run at Coffs Harbour. Through Special Stage 15, and the rocks keep coming, right on the racing line. Maintaining confidence into blind corners is becoming more difficult.
Jesus. Big rock.
Yep, slow 9 right, crest 36 right, repeating crest 36 right. Into 9 left. Into 10 right in, 80. 8 right cut, 200. This is 8 right cut, 200. Braking, 9 left, 20, turn 2 right, late, don't cut. Repeating 9 left, 20, turn 2 right, late, don't cut. 300.
Evans and Weston are clearly quickest through the Healthway loop stage, 10 ahead of their teammates and 20 in front of Jack Monkhouse, despite some determined driving by the South Australian. The spectator point mid-stage is rear-wheel drive heaven. Monkhouse, the master slider, doesn't disappoint. As a driving force for the new two-wheel drive championship, Peter Evans is not disappointed either. The Team Honda boss is upbeat about the change in direction for the Bosch ARC and excited about further manufacturers joining in two-wheel drive competition.
Appears to be heaps of manufacturers in Europe that are running cars, so I can't see why we can't do it here. Obviously we've got Mazda coming on board very shortly, and I hear rumours that Neil Bates might be out soon. I'd love to see that, and maybe Toyota, you know, so if we could get 4 manufacturers next year, I think we're right back on track with the Australian Rally Championship. I think there's the opportunities then for young drivers to pick up a drive.
While his eldest son, 4-time Australian Rally champion Simon Evans, is watching over the final build of his new Mazda 2 for the next round, number 2 son is powering the Honda Jazz through the repeat of Ellis to another victory. Without the two-wheel drive experience of Evans, Pedder has been playing second fiddle to Jack Monkhouse, but through Brockman 2, Pedder gets the upper hand.
It's actually those group of 3 stages have been really good for us, just getting to know the car and know what it does. And it was funny just chatting to the boys. I was worried it was moving around in the back in the first 2, and when you actually start driving the car properly, that all goes away. So fairly steep learning curve.
Healthway 2 is also good to Pedder and Claire Ryan. They drive 1 second decay quicker than their first time and win the stage by 3.
What the f*** did you have for lunch?
That was better, wasn't it?
That was awesome. Oops, cameras.
Turn sharp.
Without taking anything away from their drive, Evans and Weston do have a moment that nearly stops them in their tracks.
Oh no.
Evans is lucky. Without the benefit of four-wheel drive to dig themselves out, their rally could have ended right here.
Got your notes? Yeah.
And that is, in fact, the end of the rally, with emergency services being called away.
Apparently there's a bushfire out there, so they had to take the fire trucks all out. So it's the weekend ended early, but we had a nice enough lead, and I was happy to park the car after it's been a tough weekend, but we got through.
Eli Evans extends his lead, but leading privateer Jack Monkhouse will keep him honest next round. John Brunsma is rewarded for finishing every stage, jumping to third, while Mark Petter will be looking to better his performance in round 3. Queensland is the next stop in the Bosch Australian Rally Championship, joining with a round of the Asia Pacific Series from Caloundra on the Sunshine Coast. We'll catch you then. Bye for now.